Menopause didn't just change my body, it actually changed the way I feel inside about myself, about my health, about my future. I know there's so many women out there who feel exactly the same way, that their bodies have literally betrayed them when it comes to menopause. Perimenopause, in menopause, after menopause, everything that has to do with it, the shifting and the changing of your body, the changing of your mindset, the way that it kind of plays tricks on you. Your body thinks that it can do things that it, was able to do before and that maybe now you can't do. And it really just played an emotional toll on me for so long without me realizing that's exactly what was happening, right? I couldn't really pinpoint this was menopause. That's why I'm feeling so sluggish. That's why I'm getting those brain fogs. That's why I'm feeling completely restless at night when I'm trying to sleep. I've always been a good sleeper. I've always had good energy. I've always been pretty sharp in my thinking, but even when I wasn't, I was able to bounce right back or figure out where it is that I was to get right back on track. Studying, learning, all of those things always came pretty easily to me. So again, the brain fog and not remembering and trying to figure things out and trying to wonder, am I not getting enough sleep because I'm so stressed about the brain fog, or am I getting the brain fog because I'm not getting enough sleep? It's a sick cycle. The menopause is just a complete and utter weird cycle that not enough people talk about. Another thing is soreness in your body where you didn't necessarily know that you were going to get sore, and not for any real reason, right? Not because I lifted boxes that were too heavy, so I have back pain. No, just ick, just feeling ick in your wrists, in your neck, in my hips. I carry it in my hips a lot of that has to do with weight too, so I'm not taking that away. But just the changing and the shifting and feeling things in places that I didn't feel before all comes back to menopause. When I started menopause and thinking that once I can just get through this sort of change in the flow and change in the way that menstruation happens, oh, that'll be good. And I'll be able to get past it. No, that's not how it works. However, I will say that's kind of what we're taught. That's what I learned. That's what's been told to me. And it's certainly been told to a lot of women, millions of women across the globe, just being taught that, you just get over that little hump and then you're okay. Yeah, sometimes, and that would be great. And in the grand scheme of things, I'm healthy and I'm not taking that away. And I'm not going to say that I'm not grateful for that. Of course I am. But again, just thinking about how much I've changed, how much my body's changed, and how much menopause has kicked me in the butt. I really wish more people were talking about this in a really, really honest way. And I wish more research and funds were put into it, because we don't have to do this, women, right? We don't have to suffer like this. But until that's done, I want us to have a community here where we can be very open and very honest about what's changed in ourselves, in our friends, in our families when it comes to menopause. And those things that people don't want to talk about, those things that people say, you know what, just keep that hush hush. Why? It's part of our health. It's part of our health journey, right? If I had cancer and I was talking to you about the cancer treatment, you would say, of course I want to hear about that. And I know it's not a disease. Menopause is not cancer. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just saying there are certain things that it's okay for us to talk about, but there's others that aren't. So why is menopause not okay to talk about? It's a biological and physiological function, and women go through it. So we should be real about it and open and honest about it. And that's really what I'm going to try to do here. Build a community of women who are either about to go through it, who have gone through it, or who want to be a support system for other women who are going through it. And I want us to form a community here, be open, be honest, and be real about what's happening to our bodies and how we can help each other. And I know that a lot of people who have watched me before see me walking, because exercise is really a big deal. And I walk a lot, and I walk with my senior pup, who that's been changing a little bit. But the point is, walking has really grounded me and not only helped my body, because it certainly does. You want to be moving, you want to be outdoors, soaking in the sunshine, or soaking in the rain, or the even the cloudy days, but being connected to nature and walking, absolutely fabulous. Moving your body is really, really fabulous. But also it's helped my mind, because when you have those quiet walks, when you're on your own and you just have your own thoughts going, sometimes racing thoughts, again, Another side effect that I didn't expect. But when you have these opportunities to sit there and think for yourself, think to yourself, think about what's changed, what your future might look like, how it is that you want to show up in the world as a woman in her 50s and beyond, a woman who has experienced menopause or is experiencing it. You want to be true to yourself, right? And so being able to have those times of quiet when I can just walk and reflect and think, not just think about now, how my body's changing now, but what do I want for the future? And I'm really thankful to have that opportunity to be able to walk every day and stay grounded doing it. I also have to acknowledge that walking is not enough for the journey that I want to be on, that journey that I am going to be on. Positive, forward thinking and affirmations and saying, I'm going to be healthy this year, meaning I'm going to focus on my weight loss a lot. I'm going to do it hard. I'm going to be very committed to it. So part of that is being kind to myself and knowing that it's okay. I can start over and I can continue to walk, which I will continue to walk with my senior pup, Windsor, and on my own. However, I do need to do more. Walking is great, again, for the movement, the cardio, being outdoors, connecting to nature, having time to think for yourself. It's not enough. It's certainly not enough for me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical trainer. I'm not any sort of exercise expert in any capacity, but I know my body. And I think as women, we need to learn to connect with our bodies, be forgiving, but also challenge ourselves in ways that we know is right for us. I'm not going to start doing CrossFit. I can pretty much guarantee that. I never say never, but I can pretty much guarantee that's not my goal. It might be your goal. It might be goals of people around you, and that's great. That's not mine. My goal is to lose weight, feel better, be able to exercise in a way where I'm able to move my joints, continue my cardio, feel the blood flow, be able to reach and move and do all of the things that I've always been able to do without pain, without those cricks, without those aches. Is that going to go away 100%? I'm sure it's not. That's sometimes just part of aging, sometimes part of what menopause is doing to us, but it doesn't have to be that way because of weight loss, because of so much weight on my body. Weight loss will help me lessen and alleviate some of those negative side effects. That's just the truth. So menopause for sure put a kink in, and a really big kink and a big, threw a big loop in my weight loss journey. However, I have to own that menopause has changed the way my body reacts to my weight loss journey, how it is that I'm exercising. So I have to be one step ahead of it, or maybe a few steps ahead of it, and start doing things differently. I'm not going to be able to just walk and lose weight. That's not it. Windsor agrees. Because us moving our bodies, and movement definitely for me isn't just about burning calories or about losing weight. It's the whole package, right? Again, me being able to move well, me being able to have real mobility as I age, right? The one thing that I really hated seeing as my mom aged and her health decline was her ability to move and her mobility start to decline. Not being able to get up and get things the way she used to, not being able to even carry a pan to the stove, or not being able to, later on as her age and her disease advance, not even being able to stand up for more than a few seconds, 30 seconds maybe. And that is certainly not something that I want. Again, I'm not unrealistic. I know that depending on disease, depending on how long we live, depending on how we age, these things might happen, but they certainly shouldn't be happening in my 50s, my 60s, my 70s, and I don't expect them to happen in my 80s. Will there be pains? Will I be a little bit slower? Of course, but not being able to cook for myself, not being able to take walks, not being able to be as independent as possible, that's something that I'm not signing up for. So in my 50s, I'm going to do everything I can to start to be proactive and try to prevent that. And next week is actually my 55th birthday. Holy cow. So I say in my 50s, my mid-50s now. So in my mid-50s, thinking about what it means when I'm going to be a year older, in 2026 and then 2027 and then beyond, it's really important to me that I show up here and I'm accountable to myself and to the community. And it really means a lot to me for women to support women. I've always been about women supporting women and being real and honest. And I think I want to shift my focus on this channel to just supporting each other through any stage of life, but especially if you're in your 50s and beyond, especially if you have experienced menopause, and especially if you need a community to support you. You need someone to cheer you on. You need tips. You need pointers. You need to be pointed in the direction of where to go. Again, I'm not a doctor, but we have a lot of people out here who are watching YouTube, who will participate, who will hopefully join the journey, who might be able to give you some pointers. I'm not talking about getting medical advice from YouTube, but what I am talking about is maybe they can point you in the right direction of the doctor, the type of doctor that maybe you need to find, maybe the type of medicine that they tried. You can talk to your doctor about it. It's about information sharing. It's about supporting each other. It's not about us saying, you're doing it wrong, and here's the only right way to do it. No, that's absolutely not what this is about. I don't know the right way to do it. I just know it's working for me in the moment, and I will continue to try to push myself every single day to get better, to get healthier, and to show up here committed every single week for us to do that together. So just as I was going to do my closing, my cat Marilyn, also a senior, came to join. And I think that she would fully agree if she could talk. And she can't because she's fully deaf. She's always been deaf, and she's half blind now. So, and there's my other cat. So you'll see a lot of cats around here because we love our cats. And while they're generally not allowed on the kitchen counter, they do what they want. Anyone who owns a cat knows that. And you as a woman, you should do what you want. I know that that's what I want to do in my 50s and beyond. I'm going to channel my cats and say, you know what? To heck with it. I'm doing what I want. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be wealthy. And I am for sure going to start pushing my body and making sure that I am being as independent as possible from today forward. I challenge you to do the same thing. So drop a comment and let me know what's one thing that you're going to do to kind of push yourself, to challenge yourself so that you can be independent. Thank you so much for joining me. And until we walk again, go live your best life. Be happy, be healthy, be wealthy. See you next time.